Welcome to today's explainer. If you are a C-level executive, a compliance officer, or a risk manager trying to navigate the highly complex financial landscape in Germany right now, we are talking directly to you. Today, we're diving into how you can actually transform your outsourcing management. We want to take it from being this relentless cost center and turn it into a strategic, risk-minimizing asset. By looking at the insights and frameworks developed by S+ Compliance Services, we're going to explore how to achieve truly audit-proof governance that aligns perfectly with both MaRisk AT and EBA guidelines. Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the regulatory dilemma. Then we'll look at the audit-proof S+ solution, followed by the 3 pillars of value. After that, we'll cover certified security and quality, and finally, your path to compliance.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the regulatory dilemma.
So what is the core conflict keeping executives up at night? Well, it's a pretty painful gap. On one hand, you have accelerating regulatory complexity. The demands from MaRisk AT, the minimum requirements for risk management, and the European Banking Authority are constantly growing. The rules are just getting far more stringent, requiring meticulous documentation, nonstop risk analyses, and really rigorous monitoring. But on the other hand, there is a severe lack of specialized internal talent to actually handle all of this. Honestly, finding qualified compliance experts right now is like finding a needle in a haystack. You're essentially being asked to do far more with far less available talent on the market. This brings us to the million-dollar question, literally. How do you manage this crushing regulatory burden without absolutely exploding your internal costs? Pretty much every financial executive is facing this exact budget crisis right now. Think about it. Recruiting, training, and retaining these highly specialized compliance experts requires massive capital. And if you fail to comply, well, the regulatory penalties and liability risks are even more expensive. It kind of feels like a no-win scenario, doesn't it?
Moving on to part 2, the audit-proof S+P solution.
So instead of banging your head against the wall, desperately trying to build this capability in-house, SP Compliance Services comes in to act as a legally secure shield for your organization. They do this by providing an external outsourcing officer. Now, this isn't just a consultant handing you a playbook and walking away. This is an audit-proof interface that actually takes on the heavy lifting of monitoring, controlling, and reporting all of your outsourcing activities, and they do it in strict accordance with MaRisk AT. Now, this approach actually breaks down into 2 really practical service tiers, which lets you figure out the precise level of compliance integration your institution needs. Option 1 provides comprehensive central outsourcing management. This is your go-to if you want holistic support. It includes developing your outsourcing strategy, running ongoing risk analyses, maintaining all that complex documentation, and giving you general support in complying with legal requirements. But then there's option 2, which takes things a critical step further. It includes everything from option 1, but it adds a qualified outsourcing officer to the mix. This officer takes on the active, specific tasks of monitoring, controlling, and reporting. It's maximum support. You are essentially integrating top-tier technical expertise directly into your operations to ensure every single compliance requirement is meticulously met. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but is this the right fit for my specific type of institution? Well, this solution is explicitly tailored and proven for a wide spectrum of highly regulated entities operating in Germany. So, whether you are a traditional credit institution, an investment firm, a FinTech holding a ZAG license, meaning the Payment Services Supervisory Act, an asset manager, or even a crypto-custodian dealing with private cryptographic keys, these regulatory burdens apply to you. And the S+ solution is built specifically to protect you. Let's look at Section 3, 3 pillars of value. When you externalize compliance the right way, it fundamentally changes from a mere expense into a real value driver. And this happens across 3 interconnected pillars: cost efficiency, operational focus, and liability and risk mitigation. For way too long, compliance has just been viewed as this annoying, necessary hurdle. But when we break it down into these 3 areas, you start to see a massive return on investment. Let's dig into each of these. First up is cost efficiency. By outsourcing your central outsourcing management to S+, you immediately protect your corporate bottom line. You save the considerable capital that you would otherwise just lose to the endless cycle of recruiting, training, and paying premium salaries for internal compliance specialists. Instead, you get top-tier expertise on demand, which lets you use your financial resources way more efficiently. Pillar number 2 is operational focus. We have to talk about the massive hidden cost of compliance: distraction. When your internal teams are completely bogged down managing complex outsourcing regulations and hunting for data, they aren't innovating. They aren't serving your clients.
But by offloading these really demanding regulatory tasks to S&P experts, you relieve your team. And the result? A direct, measurable productivity boost, as they finally unleash their focus back onto your core business competencies. And the third pillar? If you are in the C-suite, this is arguably the most critical one for you: liability and risk. In an environment that's characterized by highly complex, constantly shifting requirements, ignorance is absolutely not a legal defense. SP's expertise serves as the ultimate safeguard against regulatory penalties. They come in and establish a robust risk management system that actively limits corporate liability. They make sure that all measures are carried out professionally according to the absolute latest legal standards. That brings us to Section 4, Certified Security and Quality. Look, if you're going to hand over your risk management, you need undeniable proof of authority. And S&P holds an incredibly impressive array of international gold standard certifications. These guarantee an audit-proof DORA information register, which is totally crucial for your digital operational resilience and absolute regulatory trust. You've got IDW PS 951, which proves an effective internal control system that's essential for audit-proofed outsourced processes. Then there's ISA 3402, the international gold standard for outsourcing providers. For information security regarding your sensitive ICT master data, they hold the vital ISO 27001 certification. They ensure structured, reliable data processing standards with ISO 9001, and they even boast an EcoVadis bronze rating, proving a strong, responsible ESG commitment. So when regulators look at these credentials, they literally see a fortress of compliance. So what do all these gold standard badges actually mean for you? They translate into extensive, modular compliance as a service offerings where every single area maps directly to a tangible benefit for your company. Need outsourcing of compliance functions, like I'm a risk compliance officer or an ICT function for DORA? S&P takes over those roles, saving you serious internal resources. Need a structured compliance management system? They implement it, leading to clear responsibilities and massively reduced liability. What about regulatory monitoring? They track all the legal changes for you, ensuring you stay up to date and compliant, which completely eliminates those exhaustive internal research efforts for your team. It really is a fully flexible, sustainable relief for your organization. Finally, let's hit Section 5, your path to compliance. Getting to that MaRisk AT 9 compliance doesn't have to be a headache. Through S+P, it's actually an effortless 3-step onboarding process. Step 1 is the inquiry. You just contact their team to discuss your specific needs, and they help you pinpoint exactly what your unique regulatory requirements are. Step 2 is the offer. They create a customized solution tailored specifically to your company, regardless of your size or sector. And Step 3 is contract design. Once you accept the offer, they jointly develop an outsourcing contract that forms a really solid basis for cooperation, ensuring smooth, seamless integration right into your existing business processes. It actually is that straightforward. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Is your current outsourcing model truly audit-proof? Seriously, when the EBA or local regulators come knocking on your door, are you 100% confident in your internal documentation and your risk controls? Because if there is even a shadow of a doubt, you are carrying unnecessary risk. Do not let compliance become a bottleneck to your growth. Request your non-binding compliance check with S+P Compliance Services today and start turning those heavy regulatory obligations into a strategic advantage. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.